Okay, this is Concrete Jungle. It's a game by my friend Cole Jeffries about building a city and trying to score points in a weird way that I can't really explain, but I'll show you. And it's fascinating, and it's full of incredibly smart little rules that completely change how you kind of feel about the game, like why you get excited about placing a certain building in a certain place. So these two things are the things I can choose to build right now. Both of them, neither of them get many points, and actually both of them make the land around them worse. So as you can see, it makes 4 different squares. It's going to do -1 to those squares. So actually, I probably want to put it in a corner, because then only one of those squares is on like valid land. And now I can build a house. That's one of my options. And this would be the worst place to put it, because that point is actually not doing me any harm yet. It doesn't automatically get added to my total. But if I put a house on it, the house collects that point. And because it's a -1 point, I actually lose a point. So I don't want to do that. So instead, I'll put it, it doesn't really matter where exactly, I'm just going to put it to empty land. And now the next thing I can build is a youth club. This thing, the blue square there, means it's going to benefit the tile behind it by 1. All of them are 1 unless it specifically has another number on it. And so if I put that there, my house is going to collect that 1 point. And now you can see that in this kind of bar chart on the side. And that is what you're actually needing to care about, is I need to get 3 points in this column. I also need to get 3 points in the next column and 3 points in all these columns. And if I don't, and I fill the column up and I still don't have 3 points in it, then that column is kind of blocked and I'll lose a life for that. So my initial goal is just to get 3 points in every column. So this shouldn't be too difficult. A green is a nice versatile thing where you can choose which tile it benefits. And I'm going to put it in the same column as my house. The kinds of things you're thinking about at this point are, this column is my only one that has any points in it at all. And so it's probably not going to be a problem to hit my quota there. In fact, I can do it right now. If I just place another green and I put it there, then I've already hit my 3. And that's why I'm putting the greens in this column. Because they are going to take up space and they don't do anything by themselves. They only benefit some other square. So I might as well put them in the same column that they're benefiting, because this column I'm happy with. It's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. This one and this one I'm more worried about, because they've got some basically dead space in there. That these buildings are just taking up space and not giving anything. And I'm nowhere near getting my quota yet. So what I'll probably do actually is, if I place a youth club here, this seems like a good spot, because this -1, I know I definitely don't want to put a house there, so I might as well put something that doesn't collect points there. And again, taking up space in this column where I've already got enough points is the safest thing to do, because I don't need to place any more houses in there. And so I place on there, and now this column's doing pretty well as well. I think when you have houses to place but you don't have any points to collect yet, you just kind of want to put them... I might put it... Let's put it here, actually, because I can see I've got a shops coming up. Shops benefits the thing behind it, and so that'll be a good spot for that. Grove, if an adjacent tile's points are 0 or lower, set them to 1. So actually that -1, I could have saved that with the grove, but it doesn't really matter, because this will do just as well with an empty tile. And I think I'll even put it... So in this case, I can't use the grove to make this any better, because it's already at 1, but I can use it to make this one better. And in fact, it's very good to do that before I put down the shop, because after I put down the shop, it wouldn't help. So this is, I mentioned that this trying to get 3 points in every column is the safe way to play. And that's because the great thing about Concrete Jungle is it's never that simple. It's never just, oh, that's what you've got to do. And if you can do it, you win. And if you don't, you lose. You can get more than 3 points, and that will count to your points total. In fact, it will count squared. So for this 3-point column, I'm going to get 9 points. If this one... Actually, I'm not sure what happens if you don't hit the total, whether you get those points or not. But if I get 4 points there, I get 16 points. So that means, obviously, the more points, the better. That's, pretty self-evident. But it actually is subtly incentivizing you to over-invest in one column. Like I was saying, I'm taking up space in that column because I don't really need the extra points. That's the safe way to play. The risky, high-reward way to play is put all your houses in this column now and then use up all this space in the other columns to benefit just those houses and get some crazy point total here, like 9. And then I get 81 points for this column. Right now I'm going to get 9 points for this column. If I tripled my my points value in here, I would get 81 instead, which is an insane difference. And so if you actually care about score, and you come to, if you don't already, then it's always pushing you to take more and more of a risk and overinvest. So I'm going to play mostly safe, and then if it looks like we're doing okay, I will start to invest in... in fact, let's put a house there, just so that later I can get some points there. This column is actually going to be the hardest, this back one, because I don't have access to the... There is a row behind this, and eventually if I clear a column over here, the whole thing will scroll over and we'll get access to that column. But I don't yet, so it's a bit more of a risky proposition. So youth club, oh, that's nice to put that there, because now these two columns are both done. This wholesaler, again, it makes everything worse. So like I could put it in that corner where it's only going to negatively affect one tile, but I don't want to do that because I have a house on that actual tile that it would be affected, so I'd lose that point. And you absolutely can, come out of the safe zone. Right now that column's safe, but I can still tank it. So if I put it here, I think that's a good spot because only affects one tile, and it's not one that I already have something on it. That little ding noise tells me I've got a new purchase. And so when I describe Concrete Jungle to my friends, it starts out like trying to explain that whole mechanic, which is a little bit tricky without being able to show it. But then I just keep talking for about 45 minutes because there is so much going on in this game. It's insane. It's like Cole just sort of made a game that would have been fine and worked on its own, and then just kept making game for like 5 years afterwards. I don't actually know how long it took, but it feels like a game that should have taken more than 5 years because it's insane how much is in it. So with my purchase, I filled up this economy bar. If you place a house, that gets you no economy. If you place a shop, that gets you some economy. And these big negative buildings that are hurting the land around them, the reason you want those at all is that they give you a lot of economy. And once that bar fills up, you can buy a new card, and these cards are generally better than the ones you start with. These actually aren't that great. But if you don't like anything that you're being offered to buy, you can go to the skills tab instead and spend your purchase point on getting one of the skills. And these skills are unique to the character you've picked. There are loads of different characters. There's also a campaign featuring these characters, which is fully voice acted and story driven, which is crazy. And I think the thing I want here is I don't really want +2 purchases because I don't really like anything that's in the shop. This one gives me, it reduces my expense points and also affects my cap on expenses. So economy is the positive one. You want economy. Expense is the negative one. You don't want that. When that caps out, instead of getting 3 points in every column, I need to get 4 points in every column. And if it caps out again, I'll have to get 5 points in every column. And so that's the problem with filling up expense. So it's quite good to get this because my 34 there would drop down to 14. And so now I'm way off, increasing how many points I've got to get in each column. Actually, by spending that point, I do have some other purchases saved up. I will also buy something. I'll buy a community garden. That lets me make a block bigger. And actually, some of these are good too. A school would be nice. That makes, as you can see, it just makes 4 different tiles better. But you'll notice actually a school gives you no economy and it costs you 2, which is significant. But it has enough of a good effect on the houses around it that it's worth it, I think. And that's the neat thing about this game is it's the metaphor, like how the rules map to reality is always kind of interesting. It's always, sometimes it's kind of cute, sometimes it's really smart, sometimes it sort of has a message about like what Cole thinks about these buildings, or at least his best attempt to translate them into game mechanics. So when we come to prisons, that'll get interesting. So for now, I'm a little bit worried about this back column. Actually, no, this would be fine. If I just place a house and a green there, I'll fill it up. And in fact, I'm going to do that because where should I put this? I think there. And now here, I'll place the green here right now. So this is great. The back half is all completely safe. I don't need to worry about any of that. I don't have a house here yet, but I will happily take up some space in the column that's already successful and boost that because I'm going to place a house there at some point. Now, I should start thinking ahead to the school. The school is coming up, and I want to place it... I would love to get all 4 of those positive tiles out in the open. And so I think that means I can't really benefit that 2 column. So I feel like I don't want to put a youth club here because it's going to take up space that I could use for the school. I've also got this wholesaler. Maybe I'll just get rid of this wholesaler for now, and I know I want a house here for sure. And now school, somewhere like... Actually, that looks quite good. Yeah, I'm going to place it here. And then I'm going to place... wait. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to... For now, I'm just going to keep increasing these points. And I don't want to place this community garden yet because I don't yet know where I want to put it. What I want is to... I definitely want a house there. And I think, strangely, I want a house here. There's no points there yet, and it doesn't look like... I don't have easy access to the tiles around it. Usually that means you're not going to get another chance to add points to this, because most things affect stuff that's adjacent to them. But what I wanted to show you is... when I mouse over next to this thing, it is highlighting the existing buildings. These are all three of these are houses, and I'm placing a new house. So when I place it, it's going to add to the block. All these are currently a block. In fact, if I click on it, it'll tell me, Annecy Fields, I think, is the name of the block there, and it says 3 out of 4. So the block can be as large as 4. Currently, it's only 3. So if I place another one adjacent to one of those things, it becomes part of the block. And then the community garden, that might have been a dumb place to put, actually, but what I want to show you is by placing this in that block, I can increase the size of the block. So blocks don't matter yet, but the reason I would like a really big block is that at some point, in fact, wouldn't it be great if there was one in the shop right now? Some of these cards will say +1 to this block, and that means every building in the block gets +1, and that's huge. And so the planning ahead for that kind of stuff is usually a good idea. So even if I never get a chance to add a point to that building, it's not much of a waste. It didn't really cost me anything. But what I definitely do want to do is use this shop. I've got enough points in that column that I'm not worried about it, so I'm going to put it here. I'm avoiding... The reason I've worked from the back instead of the front is because as soon as I have 3 points in this column, it will clear. It will disappear, the whole thing will scroll over, and we'll move on. And I do want that to happen at some point, but not yet. Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing. This is a green. Okay, I'm going to get 2 there. I think we certainly want a house here, don't we? I've got another purchase. None of those are all that great. I'll do the expenditure thing again. And I'm not going to put this one down yet, because what I want is a house there for sure. Oh man, lots of these are not are not finished. I think I'll put the youth club there because I'm confident in this column, but I'm worried about this one. Green is good. I'm going to... So what I'm doing here is I'm getting that tile to quite a high value, and when I do place a house there, I'll get all those points, and it'll take me over the total. I get more than 3, I'll get 4. And what I'd like to do is get this one actually to 2, because then the column still won't clear because I only have 2 points, but when I put this down, I'll have 5 points, and that gets me 25. So that would be neat if I can make it work. But, of course, I'm risking failing to fill in one of these. School... Oh, no, I can't place a school yet. Damn it, I don't really want a grove. The only place that would be good to have a grove is adjacent to this, but I can't get to it anymore because I kind of blocked it in. What I could do... This isn't really necessary, but I might as well at least illustrate to you that I can turn that -1 into a +1 because a grove doesn't care what the original value is. It's just going to make it up to 1. And now the school... Oh, let's do the school there, because that gets me the 2 I wanted here. And also, I can get 2 there. So, this is looking good. I'm in a good position. And you can see I'm now getting into the point where I'm going to get over 3 in this column and in this column. I can't really use that one, unfortunately, because as soon as I do, it will clear the column. So once you're kind of safe, it makes sense to start taking a few risks. This youth club is fucking useless to me, basically. Because... Oh no, I can put it there because I know I don't need this tile. but I'm not getting enough houses, and that's really worrying me now. Like, where's this wholesaler going to go? I've got to place a wholesaler. If it goes there, it devalues this land. If it goes there, also I'm wasting my 3. If it goes there, that would be a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. This would devalue that column, and I don't really have a lot of opportunities to get it back up. I think this is the best option, even though it's really bad, because I can't use this 1 anyway, so that's not a waste. And although that 2 would have been nice, I don't need it to complete the column. So you really got to look at how many houses you're going to get now, because I just want houses from now on, basically. But I'm not going to get just houses. The shops is fine. The green is fine. In fact, the green could go there and boost this one. So I think I will do this one. Shops, I can't make good use of it, but I can just harmlessly place it in the corner there. And then this green, rather than capture this point, I'll use it to boost this one, which is... Okay, so now it's really tempting to put the house here, because then I get 4 points in here, and I'll get a good multiplier from that. But look what's coming up. I've got to place... The next thing I place after this it can't be a house, no matter what. So if I place that there, I've got to place a non-house on those 3, and that would be a disaster. So I'm going to place the house on the 3. This is going to get me 5 points, and it's going to clear this column. And because every other column behind it is also met its point quota, it's going to clear them one after the other, for which you get a combo bonus. And that is significant too. So 5 points gets me 25. 3 is going to get me 9. And then this target in the middle here, that's the combo bonus. And as you can see, it's mounting up significantly, and in fact it's doubling each time. And so that's going to get really high. So I got 640 points for that. So that's pretty impressive, I think. Hey, did I? Yeah, okay, good. So I started with minus 300, and then I got that. So that's cool. And you can kind of see what would have happened if I invested in one column and got, like I said, if I got 9 points in one column, I would have got 81 out of that, which is great, but it's risky to do. You might leave the neighboring columns messed up and unable to complete. And by just playing it safe and getting all my ducks in a row and having them all lined up ready to go at once, it was a little bit tricky to do that, but I got a huge combo bonus from it. So, and the combo bonus, like the square rule for the points, is it's an exponential thing. So when you are in a position to do well at it, there's even more motive to do just a little bit better at it, and that's really cool. So any other person, having made that game, would stop and release it. But Cole is crazy, and so this thing has, like I say, there's this campaign mode. I don't know, I won't actually show you playing this, but I'll just give you an idea. I just want to show if there's voice acting.
Bonjour.
Huh?
Is this the mayor's office?
Oui. Are you Eva Lorraine?
Yes.
Wow, that's not the right pronunciation.
I've heard of you. You've been to every city council meeting since 1999.
Thorn in the side of local government. Yes, I know, Miss Thompson.
Anyway, that is... I'm not going to play the campaign mission, like I say, but just to give you a sense of, it's a full voice-acted thing with a story and characters, and those characters also relate to the game mechanics. What I really want to show you is Versus, where I am going to... Now, do I have diners unlocked? Oh, yeah, it's also a deck-building game, by the way. And you unlock cards, and then choose your starting deck, and then, obviously, as you purchase things from the shop, that's increasing your deck as well. Doesn't look like I have diners unlocked, which is a shame. What does the gym do? Oh, that's pretty good. I have a lot of... I don't think I want a grove. And I would actually like more... I'm going to get rid of that, one of those, and I'm going to get 2 factories. Because, like I say, these buildings that make things worse around them also get you economy, so they have an upside. And I'm about to play Versus mode, where there will be an even bigger upside. I'm also going to give myself... Let's just have a load of starting purchase so I can show you some of the later stuff. I do not want the game to be endless. I want it to be about 20 columns, and then maybe we'll complete it. I don't know. So, in versus mode, the rules are a bit different. You're still trying to get points in each column, but this blue side of the road is a place only I can build, and the purple side of the road is the place only my opponent, Laney, can build. I'm playing against an AI. You can play against other people as well, because why not? This game just does everything. So, it's good for me to make these tiles bad. If I could make them all minus 20 right now, I would, because only she can build there and only I can build here. I want these tiles to be good and those tiles to be bad, but and we can both build in this central area. And the frontmost column is always free for all. Anyone can build there. So I can build in the front column, and if I do that, I'm only hurting her tile. If I do it here, I'm hurting one of her tiles, and I'm also hurting one that's kind of on her side. Like, I can build there, but it's closer to hers, so it's more useful to her, which means it's worse for her if it's bad. And in fact, I could do something like this, which makes that one super bad, which probably won't end up having an effect because she's not going to build a house there anyway. She's not stupid. But it's always good just to make their land worse. So it's this weird thing where you're trying to make like that side of the street shitty and your side of the street really nice. But as for like how you get points, it's not the case that I only get points for stuff in this area and I don't get points for stuff in this area. It's about who has the most points in each column, and that is key. So here, I don't have any points on the board yet. So where do I want a house? I want it somewhere I'm going to put some points. And it might make sense to put it in a column where she's already got a lot of disadvantages, because then it makes it easier for me to win this column. I don't really want to put it here because this area is free for all. So if you see this factory, it hurts the tiles around it. If she has a factory and I place a house there, on her turn she can just put a factory down and hurt my house. And once the house is down, I can't not collect the points. I'm forced to have those negative points. So I think the best place is one thing in. She can't really place anything that's going to hurt that. And if she wants to compete in that column, if she wants to get... This is the AI playing by now. It plays the same way a player would, like it's using the same interface and everything. You just get to watch it happen. Okay, she noticed that we started with a whole bunch of purchases. I didn't spend any of those because I wanted to explain the basics first. But she's gone absolutely ham in the shop and bought a whole load of things that I did not follow and don't understand. But I'm sure we'll find out what they are when she uses them on us. Okay, so she's obviously noticed I'm going for this column. I've put a house there. I don't have any points yet, but she can tell that's what I'm going for. That building she just placed is kind of an interesting one. It's a tennis court, so she put it on a bad tile, and a tennis court lets you move that points value to an adjacent tile, so she moved that -1 out of her territory and into here. It wasn't that smart of a move because I don't care. But anyway, so this is good news. She is actually going to try and compete in this column. Because when I get some points in this, we still have that same thing of we're trying to get to 3 points in each column. But as you can see, there's 2 bars here. There's going to be my score and her score. Obviously, the buildings I own contribute to my score. The buildings she owns contribute to her score. I'll place this youth card down, and I'll get that 1 point. And then a green... This is going to be good because even more so than in single-player mode, you really want to focus on one column over the expense of all others. It doesn't matter if this column gets filled up and none of us have 3 points. It'll just get cleared for free. It doesn't hurt either of us because it would be hard for the game to decide like who it should hurt. So we don't have to worry about getting a nice equal amount in every column. We very much want to get the most points in each column. So it has this interesting like race of investment where I wasn't sure if she was going to try and compete in this column. And the reason I use that term is that if she thinks I'm going to win for sure, she should not put anything in this column. Because if I get over my total, and if I get more than 3, and I have the most points in this column, I get her points too. Which is amazing. It's a winner-takes-all thing, and it means the more we invest in fighting over this column, the bigger the stakes are. Like, everything you've invested in trying to be the winner in this column contributes to your enemy's score if they beat you. So it's not just you don't get the points, they get the points, which is like it's like them getting twice the points, or you losing twice the points. I don't know what. It's bad. So you want to, if you're going to invest in a column, you really need to win it. Now, she's placed a factory right next to mine, same thing I did to her, which is a shame. I could put a house there anyway, because I'll get to improve it with shops, and I'll get to improve it with the green. But then I don't think I really need to, because shops and green could both benefit this tile. So I might just invest it all in that. I can't really do anything to stop her benefiting here. Like I say, I can't build in this territory. I can't get that point for myself. I might just kind of make her life generally worse by placing a factory there. And next turn I'll actually do some purchases, so you can see that. Okay, she's in the lead now. This is bad. If this column clears right now, she would get 5 points. You don't square the points in versus, because that would get truly insane. It's bad enough that she would get 5 points and I get 0. I invested some of my turns into getting these points, and she is currently in a position to steal them. So I don't want that to happen. I didn't point this out, but in case you haven't already twigged, you get 3 placements in your turn, and then it's the enemy's turn to do their 3 placements. But let's actually buy some stuff first. So I can still do that same expense threshold thing. I don't really want to. I'd rather do... let's get a market, because this gets me some economy. Costs some expense as well, but that's okay. So bus station is really good in versus, because it's +1 to any point collecting building. And you remember I talked before about how, like, if you have a building that's surrounded, a house that's surrounded already, it's pretty hard to get any more points. In versus mode, that's especially important, because so her house there is very hard for her to get any more points to it. So right now she's winning, so she's fine. But if I take the lead, now she really wants to get some more points on that tile. And a bus station is great for that, because you can place it anywhere you like and still contribute to that one thing. It's quite rare for a building to be able to do that. So I'm going to get a bus station. I kind of like economy stuff, because I want to get to some of the cool stuff later on in this skill tree. That brewery, it's good for economy, but it has a high expense and also doesn't do anything. I might just get that. It's expensive, but again, I can, because that doesn't have a building on it. That means I can just put it anywhere. I can benefit an existing building. And then maybe I just get another bus station. Oh my god, I can just get another bus station. Ooh. Actually, okay, no, I'm not going to get that, because what I really want is... So by buying a lot of cards in here, I've gone up this tech tree. Oh, it's actually called technology. That's interesting. And that means I can now access these higher tech skills. So basically buy things in here in order to get further up this skill tree and have access to more of these. And so I intentionally bought some things. If you see this kind of circular arrow thing on these 2 cards and on these 2 cards, but not on this one and not on this one. The circular arrow means after I play it, it goes back in my deck. That's going to be in my deck for the rest of the game. These ones without that, as soon as I play them, they're gone. I've got 2 of these, so once I've played 2 of them, they're gone. And I actually kind of like that. I almost prefer cards that aren't reusable unless they're super, super good, because I don't want my deck to be full of this. This is an expensive card, so if I have to keep playing that, you pretty much have to play the stuff that comes up. So I wouldn't want to keep playing that forever. And like I say, by buying those cards in the shop, you're getting access to better skills. And the reason that's important is, especially this skill, invert. This is crazy. I can just pick a tile and just basically multiply the points by -1. So if it's a massively negative tile on my side, I can make it into a massively positive tile. If it's a massively positive tile on her side, I can make it into a massively negative tile. And I can do that even after she's placed a house on it. So after she's put a load of work into investing into a tile and making it better, and she's committed to getting those points by putting a house on it. Once you put the house down, you can't choose not to get the points. You're stuck with it. I can then invert it, and that's great. I have more purchase points, but I want to get on with the actual game, so I'm going to put shops there. Now we're neck and neck. So if you're equal, you both get your points. And if nobody hits their quota, if nobody gets those 3 points, if we're at 2 and 2 or 2 and 1 or whatever, then it's no longer winner takes all. Everyone just gets the points they've earned. But if someone has at least 3 and they are in the lead, then it's winner takes all. That's what really matters. So I'm definitely just going to put all the fucking points into this that I possibly can. I'm winning now, but she still has a spare space there. So if she has a green, she can get up to 4 as well. And I very, very much want to actually win this. I don't really want to put any houses down right now. Oh, that's interesting. She's investing in this column. So if I get the chance to make something negative, I'll put it over there, I think. I'll get Spiral Slide. That's one where +2 to a random point collecting building. So it's a big bonus, but you don't know where it's going to go. This one is a massive statue of the mayor naked. The mayor is the character I'm playing as. He is all about kind of cheating the system and skill names like Trust Fund and delaying the inevitable, Life of Leisure, and then a massive statue to myself that makes all the lands to the left and right of it positive, but that little arrow on the red thing means all the way in that direction for the whole rest of the board, all those tiles are negative. And that's because that's the direction the naked statue is facing. So, fire station's good. Again, those arrows, that would mean I get positives in all the column, which is bad if she already has some houses there. But if she's already used up her land, but my land is still free, that would be a good thing. I think I'll get that. A warehouse is interesting. I might get that as well. Okay, that's my purchases. I went to buy some stuff then because all I can place is houses and I don't really want a house. Sometimes the thing you buy replaces something that's already in your build list. But for now, I'll just place a house there. Okay, so she placed a fire station. Interesting. In a sense, she's done me a favour here. I've got these 3 points that I can take, but I need to be damn sure I'm going to win this column because she has 5 points in there already. I've got to get more than 5. I've got to get 6 somehow. So I can do that in the fullness of time. If I had no time limit, I've got enough houses to cover all these points, and then I will get access to stuff that benefits this. And as long as I get each of these up to 2, that would get me my 6 and I'd win. But that presupposes that she is not going to do anything to harm me in this column, and also that she's not going to do anything more to benefit herself in that column. And I don't think either of those things is true. So I'm actually not going to put a house on any of this stuff. It's all positive points, but if I take it, it will go to her score because she's bound to win this one. I'd like to focus on winning this one and making sure that's a bigger prize. Right now, if I just leave this, if this all got completed now, if we filled in this column and this column, those would scroll off and these would fill out too. I get 7 points for this, she only gets 5 for that. So I win. I'm in the lead right now, as things stand. The slightly awkward thing is I don't really have... All I've got is freaking houses, and that's no use. So invert has come up. I think I should use it because it's really tempting to keep it in your hand and wait for the perfect moment to really destroy them. But it's such a good card just at any time, and I don't want to... For me to keep it in my hand, I have to always play the other card, which gives me 0 choice about what I'm doing, which is not great. So I'm going to play invert. I'm going to play invert on her 3. She's invested in getting 3 points in there, and I am going to make it -3. So now her total is -1. It completely counteracts the other building. And so I now could get some of these points because she is not going to win that column.
Let's see here.
And like I say, if neither of us have got up to 3, oh wow, oh she's still going for it, huh? Okay. If neither of us have got up to 3, then we just both get the points that we deserve. Then we just get our own points. She can get to 3 now, so it might have been a mistake to put a house there. But her turn was pretty good actually because there was a +1 there. She's got rid of that for me. And she's also made one of my buildings -1. Like I say, once the house is down, you can't choose not to invest in it. I can actually do something pretty mean to her, though, because if I place this warehouse down, that's going to affect all 3 tiles there, and she's got houses on 2 of them. Oh, I get to discard some stuff. So I'll discard red tape for sure. I don't have to discard 2, so I'll just do that. So that's cool. And now, actually, my fire station has come up. Oh, you know what? Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. So, fire station, it benefits everything in the column. You can see that huge blue line. So I can put it here, and it benefits 2 of my buildings and none of hers. But at the end of that, I have a +1 and a 0. So I only have 1 point. And it would make her 1 tile here into a 2 tile. All she's got to do is put down a house, and she's got more than me in that column. And that's always a bad situation to be in. I definitely don't want to put it here, because she's ahead of me here, and that would potentially turn it into a situation where she's going to win the column and get my points. Right now, it's nice and crappy. Neither of us are going to hit 3. We're just both going to get our own points, and I have more than her, so that's nice. I also thought about putting the fire station here, because I'm winning this column, and if I win, I want both of us to get more points. Like, I don't care that it increases her score, because I get her score. So this would take it to a 5 and a 4, and I just get 9 points, which would be great. But I don't really want to do that yet, because this tile is still clear. She still has access to that, and she can equalize with me and could potentially win it. And by doing this, I would take up the 1 space I have access to that can let me benefit just my tile, which is a safer move. So I don't want to place the fire station at all, really. Not right now, anyway. So instead, I'm just going to place a house somewhere I don't really care about. I don't really want to place it here. Still a little bit worried she's going to turn that around somehow. But now I get my spiral slide, which is going to place that here. It's definitely going to benefit this one, which increases my lead, puts me in a safer position. So even if she has a green and puts it there, she still can't take the lead. And it's going to do +2 to a random building. So watch for those blue numbers to see which one goes up. Aha, it was this one. Okay, that's kind of good. Oh, her move is interesting. So she's really going for it. So I took the lead in this column. If I were her, I would not... I took the lead in this column, and then she did something that benefited her buildings. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but it's something that increased her points here. So now she's on 2 and I'm on 3. That's really bad for her, because I get those 2 points. Like, it just increases my lead. In fact, perfect opportunity for a fire station, right? Because this is going to increase all of mine, it's going to increase all of hers, but I'm in the lead, and she doesn't really have any way of getting more points in this column, because it's all surrounded, it's all chock-a-block. So I think I should do this. It's a high-stakes thing, but... Oh god. Oh god. It went massively wrong. Why did it go massively wrong? She's now in the lead significantly. Okay, I know that this is not a house. This is something else. How do I get up the... Do I middle click it? No. Okay, on iPad there's a way of getting up information on what this building actually is. I knew that this was I think it's a trailer park, and a trailer park does collect points, but it can't go above 2, and it can't go below 1. And I knew that, but it was on 1, and it went up to 2. That should be fine. Then this one collects points. That was on 2 and -1. How did she end up in the lead? Oh, she just has more buildings, you idiot. I didn't think about that. She just has more, but she has 3 buildings. I only have 1 building. So she got the benefit 3 times, and I got the benefit once. I'm a complete moron. Okay. Well, I certainly don't want her to get to use this tile. Luckily, this bus station is probably going to save me, because I can increase my points there. That's already put me in a safe zone, and then I can use my renovation to just get into 6. So I've saved myself from my own idiocy, but that was kind of a close shave. Right, this is looking good. I'm pleased with what is currently unfolding. I've got another bus station, so again I can choose. I just get to take my pick of what building to benefit with this. These are both equally neck and neck. I guess this one it's more important they win it because there's more points at stake. This one, I feel like she has a better shot at doing something to improve her chances here, although that's not really true, is it? I can't really see any way she could do it. I think I'll put it there just to kind of block up that space. And to be honest, I kind of want to... I'm in a hurry now. I want to clear these columns and get these things resolved because, you know, when the points are taken, right now I'm in a position to win by a lot. But there's still time for her to change it. This market thing, I might put this here. Yeah, that benefits me and the alternative doesn't, so... And that actually let me buy something, which I will do. Do I want another fire station? No. I kind of got burned on those, if you excuse the pun. It's clear to me that my brain is not smart enough to cope with something as powerful as a fire station. 2 extra placements this turn. That's actually really cool. Let's do that.
I must be doing something right.
So that just means I get more turns before it's her go again. Annoyingly, there's no way for me to put this wholesaler that will hurt her. Oh, that got me another purchase, though. That's kind of cool. Man, maybe I want the mayor statue. It's really dumb, but if I could play it there, that would be kind of cool. There's one other quirk of the system that I haven't talked about yet, which is... Oh, that was kind of the wrong place to do that. Oh well. Which is that if you're the leader, like I say, it's... Ooh. Oh, she just... Oh, wow. She force cleared the current column. That was a really stupid move. She shouldn't have done that because, like I say, I'm in the good position and she is in the bad position. I'm going to lose a point to that column, which she takes great pleasure in. But I don't care because look at that. I got 22 points and she got 0. Okay, she's kind of gone crazy. The AI is most of the time pretty good, and I'm often... It has that good quality that AI should have, which is you read more into it than is actually there, probably. Where I'm always thinking, oh, she's got a plan for this column. She's like thinking ahead, and she's gonna try and steal it from me. She's investing in it. I assume she has something up her sleeve. So some way of taking the lead, and sometimes that's true, and it works out really well. Every now and then they do something that's just really dumb. So force clearing that column was a strange move on her part. To be honest, it's probably true that there was nothing she could do there. There was no way for her to get the lead in either of those columns. So she might just want it to be over so she can get a fresh start and start making points on the next screen. This is not the hardest level of AI. Although I think the levels only affect what cards they start with, not actually changing the intelligence. So I think I'm actually going to stop it there because I think you've got the idea, and that's a good illustration of how high stakes it gets. And when you're on the receiving end of that thing where they steal your points, it's absolutely brutal. I'm going to cut out of this and just show you what the other characters are like because it's pretty cool how much how different they are and how they work. So the person I was playing against there is Lainey Thompson. She's the character you play as initially in the single-player campaign, and she is very sort of like optimistic and about making the world better, and she can place gazebos that are like greens, but they do +2 instead of +1, and art house cinema and ballet school, very into the arts and just making a nice place. When you get up to the really high levels, let's see what she's got there. That one you place it and just says +1 to every tile, so she's kind of making everything better. These are kind of big global benefits. Wow, that one collects 4 times points. So if you put that on a tile that has like 2 points on it, you get 8 points, which is huge. And again, in solo, that would also be squared, so that's really, really cool. The mayor, who I was playing as, I didn't quite get to show it to you, but if I got to the next tech level after these kind of statues and mazes and stuff, you get mansions, which are really cool. They benefit the tiles around them. They also collect points. They start with 1 point, so when it says +1 to self, that means it just comes with a point already with it. And then they also give you estate cards, and estate cards give +1 to the block. So that block system I was talking about earlier, I didn't really get to showcase it, but that becomes super important then. And you can see, because they benefit the tiles around them and they collect points, putting mansions next to each other is great because they benefit each other, and then you get an estate card as well, and you place that next to them, and then they all benefit from that, and it's this nice, happy thing. The mayor's house, it does plus target to self, which is a cryptic statement. What it really means is the economy that you're trying to build up. You know, you're going for like 6 economy points before you get purchase. That keeps getting higher and higher the more you spend. So it eventually gets to like 9 points till your next purchase and that kind of stuff. And that is your target. So when it says plus target to self, that means +9 to yourself in that situation. To that building, which also collects points. So it's basically guaranteed 9 points. And then Ferris wheel, that makes everything better. The mayor tends to have high expense buildings, like that costs 9 to build. But he's got he's got a bailout scheme, he's got the trust fund thing, the delaying the inevitable, and all that stuff. This guy is into sports. I can't say I've completely grasped like his style, like what that means. Skills are based around sports, deck skills, and youth culture, which is random buffs. As we all know, youth culture is basically random buffs. This guy is super interesting and a really cool twist on the game. He's a farming-themed character, and so he gets farmhouses, which are just like houses, but they're rural. And what that means is that you can place farmland next to them. And farmland, again, it's +1 to this block. So every point collecting building in the same block as it gets a point. The only point collecting building that's going to be in the block is a farmhouse. And so what you usually do is place one farmhouse and then lots of farmland adjacent to it, joined onto it. And it keeps getting more and more points from all of those. And that is especially cool in versus mode because you can put the farmhouse where you really want it and then just extend farmland out in like a long column elsewhere. So you're taking up space in the columns you don't care about to give you more and more points in the column you do care about. And of course you can have more than one farmhouse in the same block, which then they're both getting points from every farmland you place. And then there's always ways of extending how many you can have in a block. Like I say, by default it's only 4 in a block. But if I place an orchard next to it, I get an extra 1 in that block, so I can keep extending that and making it go longer and longer and getting more and more points in that one place. And then I can't click on her because I haven't unlocked her on this computer, but this character is a prison warden lady, and a prison is like a house, except it collects inverted points. So whatever the score of the tile is, you get the opposite of that. So if it's +1, that's bad, you actually get -1 for that. But if it's -5, you get 5 points for it. And prisons also make the land around them less valuable. So it's almost like the opposite of a mansion, where putting prisons next to each other is good because it makes the land worse, and prisons benefit from the land being bad, which is probably best not to go too deep into the political implications of that. But basically, she's a character who benefits from everything being terrible, which is mechanically a completely fascinating inversion of everything else about how the game works. So that's Concrete Jungle. It's really good. There's so much to it. And every time I go traveling, I end up playing it on my iPad endlessly. This is on PC, obviously. I'm playing on PC right now. But it's also a great iPad game. And there's just so much to it. It's crazy.